All right, on the phone right now, we have Ryan McDonnell from the show Shoresy, and we're both, Josh and I, very excited about this. He plays former coach and goalie, always on the mark, Michaels, on the show for the Sudbury Blueberry Bulldogs. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan McDonnell, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh wow, man! It's an honor. Honestly, this has been quite a ride, so to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, just judging from that tour you guys did, playing all the alumni teams. People are just loving the show and loving seeing you guys, and from a show that's so very Canadian. It's just the popularity here in the United States is really incredible. Did you ever think it would get to this point where you'd be going around and filling arenas playing hockey?
Man, I got to pinch myself sometimes even just hearing you say that. But the truth is, I am just a regular guy who was like loving hockey. I grew up playing on the East Coast. I grew up in Nova Scotia. Love the game like any diehard does. I still follow it like just religiously. We have pools, fantasy pools that I like very am proud of, like running with Jared Kiso as well. The Shoresy, we've been doing it for years, and it's just funny that we're doing this show together now. I mean, I'm not going to give a big long story, but like we've been friends for a long time, and to be able to come together working in this nature within the film industry, like things we dreamt of, and he had been doing it much longer on this scale. But now with hockey, kind of getting back to your answer, like, no, I definitely did not. I've been kicking the cinder block, like acting down the road for a while here. I've been on some bigger things. I've been on some smaller things on scales with like small parts. And I've really, truthfully, I've seen a lot of friends do cool things. Like it's a different beast. It's like a different animal. And to also answer your question about like, yeah, we're up here in Canada, and my partner Diana, she's from Los Angeles too, and so I've dabble in that life a little bit down there too. And it's just like one of those things where you realize this is truly special. And being up here, I don't know if you're like. You're kind of insulated a little bit. We're so polite to each other, and it's kind of like a prove it to me type culture of like, yeah, what do you got? Like make me laugh type thing. Where when we were down in the States, like just I'm a dad up here, and I really take this work seriously, and I've been doing some other things on the side. But you go into the States, and yeah. I definitely get stopped here in Toronto for, living here in Toronto. It's a diehard hockey town, so there's, you find it there. But, yeah, man, like the States, Boston in particular was wild. Such a great sports town, if not one of the best in the States. And I just felt it. Like it's so collegiate. It's so team-oriented. It's you live and die, it seems like, by your colors. And it's just like I'm still blabbing on here. I'm still stunned by it. The response we got from people in the States, like it's humbling, and it's exciting, to be honest, because we are going back to do more, and it just kind of fuels your tummy to give people the best product you can give them.
So before we talk about the upcoming season, I had a couple of questions about the show and a past episode. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So is it true that Jared Kiso runs practices with the team like a real practice, like he doesn't screw around?
Yeah, I mean, we you have to take into account too, like we've got the whole squad is guys who've like played in the show.
Yeah.
They know a practice, they all know what it entails. He's like, yeah, he's definitely, set the bar. Like, we're not screwing around here. We want this, so we take a lot of pride in it, trying to, make this look as authentic as possible when we're playing hockey. And and people have responded well to that. And you always want to do better, and you always want to put your best foot forward. He lays this kind of blanket rule. It's just like hard work, like across the board. So that leaks into practice. Like, what do you, is there particular you're looking at?
Anything in particular? No, I just heard that he did that. I was like, wow, this is like they really mean it. They're real hardcore about this, and they're not doing fancy camera tricks to make it look like you guys are playing. You guys are actually really playing. Yeah,
we're not going to edit a shot because someone couldn't get the goal or whatever. Like, we'll for instance, like for goals and things like that, there's nothing worse than watching a sports thing. I don't know about you guys, but like when it's so blatantly like, like when the goalie goes to make it's always such a dramatic like save and they miss and they score. Like that for every goal is just not realistic. And so there was a lot of things like I think we explored and we're learning season by season too. Just even I'm getting super technical. Things that can happen that are a little bit more magical, like, we're playing and then it might go off a shaft and then go bar down and it looks and sounds pretty and it hits so we'll keep that, so there's elements of things like that you want that are real that you can't really plan for. You just hope. And these guys have got such amazing skills that when we say it's different, like I've been on sets of hockey things in the past, and there's an element of like whoever's in control is like it's very stressful. You want the play to develop and do a certain way so the camera can capture it. And then you have us and they're like, no, just go do the play. We'll capture it type deal. So it's a little looser in that regard, but I think it makes for better hockey myself. And I think across the board.
There obviously is chemistry on the screen, but like to what Shu just said, like you guys obviously must practice, because I was at the game at the Agganis Arena when you played the Bruins alumni, and you guys are good, and like I do a lot of work with the Bruins alumni, and that was the first time that like in the locker room in between periods they were going over plays like you got to cycle low. And I'm like, I've never heard you guys like talk plays before.
Really? Yeah. Well, that's interesting. But it was just special. We're not. I appreciate that. Thank you. Like, yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I'm the worst one out there by a mile. So, like, when you get all these guys that are just fantastic around me, you can make yourself, you can sneak by pretty good. But it's wild. Like that arena too. Filling that arena was so cool. Like you said, Boston. Like just at sports town, man. Like between the colleges and the. You just felt it everywhere you went. It was awesome.
Let's talk about season 4 a little bit. With all this talk about you guys on the ice and playing, season 4 is kind of the off season, right? This is the summertime that we're looking at here, and what the guys are going to be doing in the off season. Is that right?
The year doesn't just consist of winter hockey, so we need to shine a little spotlight on what their lives look like in the summer too. So at least once. So.
There's going to be some special guests. I saw a clip with Sean Avery in there.
Correct.
Yeah, and then I hear Marty McSorley maybe making an appearance.
You'll have to watch.
Okay,
you'll have to see. Yeah, we have some really great guest stars, and people pushing buttons. I mean, you're bringing up names, right, that are just synonymous with like characters. So it's pretty wild, man. It's pretty wild to see these people on their set. So it's cool.
When you started with Shoresy, and there were guys like Terry Ryan and Diaby and the Nolans, especially Jordan. He's the one with a couple of rings, right? Yeah. I mean, was that must have been exciting?
Absolutely, man. Like. Jordan was one of the first guys I met, ironically, which was kind of it was a great icebreaker. He's an incredibly intelligent guy, super well spoken, and just a really nice cat. Just a great guy. And we got to drive up to Sudbury together, like we were transported up together. So we, you get to quickly like we're just chatting, getting to know each other. Like, holy, we're gonna go do this TV show together. So. Obviously, I knew who he was. He didn't know who I was, but like we got chatting. We're friends, obviously now, and learned a lot. He kind of picked. He'd never been on a he'd been on set before, but not, like doing a show. So he's picking my brain. I was picking his brain like crazy about hockey. I think what was the question again?
Oh, sorry. Because I know you're a hockey fan. I mean, and just to meet these guys at first, and then knowing that, seeing Sean Avery on set and stuff. And actually, this leads to another question I had. So, as someone who's spent most of your life acting and working with athletes, non-actors, it seems like those guys have a handle on it pretty well, especially people like Terry Ryan, who's got a great personality for it, and Dolo.
Yeah, that was another one on your last question. Like when I saw him too, I was like, oh man, here we go. But we took to each other like yeah, it was great. So, and still is. But sorry.
Yeah, but so working with non-actors, I mean, they must have been. I know hockey players most of just jump right into anything, but they must have, you must have had to give them a little guidance too, like kind of a back and forth.
I don't think it was necessarily me. They definitely like I was definitely getting asked questions, but for me, it's like this is all new for me too. So for me to sit there and give answers, I was like, God, it's like you're asking the wrong guy. What I can say is like this is what you're probably going to walk into. Just be prepared for like what the situation will be, and then if you can get your nerves out of it, I think that's most of the battle. And the nerves were quickly gone because Jared just creates an environment that was comfortable for them. And I gotta say, like, an actor, athletes, whatever, like they're just all like superior professionals. And if there's anything that I can say as like just a guy who's been an actor, like I played hockey growing up, but it's short-lived. But as an older guy who just had a kid too, like there was a lot of things I said to my partner, Diana, like, I've taken a lot of things away from these guys that they don't even know about, like from just being a professional athlete, the way they clock in and clock out of their daily like routines. Routine was like a big thing that I've been taking away from guys. And it's super interesting to me to like just apply that into your everyday life because it's healthy, number one, right. But it's just it's a different way of kind of like attacking, I guess, any kind of problem that will pop up in life. There's something very simplistic. You can say that about sports teams. You say it about military, Air Force, whatever. The structure, right? And there was something maybe I was lacking. So to see and to like be around guys that were living that day in, day out, and learning about it and researching about it because we're playing guys that do that. It definitely is like, taught me lessons and hopefully, things you can carry on in life and hopefully teach other people. But it's cool. Like any actor who comes onto the set, it's a different vibe because it is like each character, it's all in our other shows say this too, but our crew members are just as valuable. Like they've been there sometimes longer than any of the actors. They know the ins and outs. They're the grease that makes this whole like thing move just efficient, and the way why we're able to do what we do is because of them. So it's just one big like really great community, like just a little ant colony making Shoresy, I guess. It does take a bunch of us, but everyone's doing it equally.
Another I'd say character of the show is Sudbury, Ontario.
Yeah.
And do you know why, Jared Kisa, one of the creators, do you know why he chose Sudbury as the setting for this show?
I don't want to give anything away. This is reminding me of a speech that he gives this season that when we were, no, I'm getting into it, but he does a speech, I think it's episode maybe 3 or 4, I think it's 4, about what it is to be from Sudbury. And, you read it on a page, but until I heard him say it, like, wow, like I got hairs on my arms up right now, like no joke. He really painted a picture as to what it was that was the Northern Ontario and the toughness and the bond that you get from people that are also from there, that just don't maybe understand it, and how tough of a town that is, and just it doesn't matter like what sport or what you do for a living. Like there's all this kind of, it's just this like mantra that just hangs over the town. Like they just, I said it before, but they just clock in and clock out, and they work hard, and they're tough.
Yeah.
And I've noticed this more and more each time I go to that town, and it was more evident in the summer, actually, because you get kind of like the veil was lifted a little bit in the snow, and it wasn't a pandemic. We were allowed to go places, and you see different places that are covered in snow, and you're like, wow, this is beautiful in the summer. And it absolutely is. And the fishing and just the boating, the lakes, and all that kind of stuff. It's stunning. So I can see how all these, there's a lot of pro players that are from there that spend their summers there in beautiful lake homes, and it's just awesome. So they've given so much to us as an entity and a town. It's only fair that we, shine a light on them, because it is like, I don't want to compare, but like Charleston was to the Chiefs, and the Sudbury is 110% what it means to be a Bulldog. So,
yeah.
And I hope that lives on. Like, I think it does. And I'm starting to see, go to NHL games, and you see these, like, people know where Sudbury is now. It's pretty cool. And there's a jersey at a lot of games these days. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
When Vegas won, there was a great big Bulldogs jersey in the,
really?
like right in their championship photo. There's a guy like just plain as day.
That's
and
awesome.
I looked at that and I was like, that's fun.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And I'm sure they don't mind up in Sudbury. I'm sure the business owners don't mind. I mean, I'm sure because I'm like,
Not at all.
I want to go there, and I want to go to Pepe's Panini, and I want to.
You have to go to Pepe Panini. It's like there's no question.
Yeah, I don't want to sit
you get
alone.
Lunch in the day, and then you go at night and have fun.
Right.
Got a popper.
It's a completely different place.
Yeah. So I think that's great, and it is. It's a mining town, right? Mostly, and so those people are, it's a hardworking town, and when they get off, they want to. They want to watch a good game, and the love is there. The love is and that's very evident in all the episodes.
Yeah.
The love between the town and the team, and
food.
Yeah, and food. Right. Derek Kiso's character Shoresy always mentioning like, oh, have some tempura or something. I mean, it's like that, and
some dim sum.
Right.
Yeah. And then music. Canadian music is referred to quite a bit. Here and there, which I think is very cool, especially in the relationship between Terry Ryan's character, Ted Hitchcock.
Yeah.
Did I say that fast enough? And then and also Pam, the waitress, and they start talking about music. And that one scene where Terry Ryan mentions Sloan's one chord after another, or one chord to another, I was just like, I can't believe he mentioned that record. It seemed like I was the only American in the 90s listening to that record. And,
man, I'll tell you a little thing. Like, I opened up for Sloan once too, and my dad, real small story. Like, they were recording their first album when my dad was recording an album in Nova Scotia, and I was a little kid, and I was watching them. And then years later, I was touring with a band, and we opened up for them. And I told him that story, and he said, like, shut up, you're making me feel old.
you're making me feel old. Jeez.
But, like, these acts and these things that, like, don't forget, like, I'm 41 and I did have like older cousins, and I loved that music, and I think Jared did too, and we grew up with that, and it's pretty awesome when you hear. Sometimes I purposefully, like, it depends. I like to be surprised with the music, but then again, now that I've seen how the music like can really like amp a scene up, now when I see the title and the script, I'm always like, fuck, what is it? Okay. So if I don't know what it is already. Before, I like to be surprised, because the hits, the choices that he makes within the song is the big thing for me, like, where it edits in and
What was the name of your band that when you were opening for Sloan?
They were called TV Heart Attack, and then they're now known as a band called, it's funny, I'm an actor, but I had no say in this, but they're called Actors, so like all capital letters. And but they're very good. It's headed by a guy named Jason Corbett in Vancouver. He's been a producer and an artist up there forever.
Doing any collabs with Dolo?
Well, Maybe. I don't know. You laugh, but you never know. You never know. Stranger things have happened.
I would love to see Michaels rapping with Dolo because.
Well, where did I do it? I didn't rap, but I got up and Terry was missing, so they were like, "Where's Terry? He's supposed to be on stage." Classic.
Was that in Boston?
They were like, "Give him the mic," and I was like, "Give me the mic." Were you there?
Oh yeah, I was at the Dolo show at the House of Blues in Boston after, and I know there was a bunch of you guys were on stage, but a lot of the crowd thought I was Fish, and a bunch of chicks just kept trying to give me their number, and so say thanks to Fish for me.
Say thanks to Fish. Jeez. That's one of the great running jokes through Shoresy. There's two really great jokes. Is that there's an insane amount of good-looking women in Sudbury.
Yeah.
And then the other one is Shoresy's kind of tick of when he asks a question and then he goes, huh? Like 5 seconds later. To me, those are great.
And the ladies do love JJ Frankie JJ.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Oh, yeah. And, I find out, too, what's funny to me is how people, fans of the show, adopt those little things into their life and drive, their significant one crazy or...
yeah.
One guy was telling me he does it to his wife. I think she was gonna slap him right there when we were there. And the other one quickly, his wife was named Nat, and because I tried to kind of differentiate my Nats to make them annoying, and I had one like Nat. So he's recorded them and put them as his ringtone every time his wife calls him.
Oh my God!
Nuts.
We really appreciate you taking the time. Ryan McDonnell plays Michaels in Shoresy. Season 4 here starting on February 26th, I believe, on Hulu. Such a great show. You mentioned Nat, and there's a really poignant scene in the I think it's the first or second episode in the first season, where she fires you, or you quit as the coach, but then she wants you to come back as the goalie. And my question is, was that your real penis or was that a prosthesis?
Well, we don't know. What do you mean? It's like movie magic. What do you mean?
It's the Boogie Nights question.
It's the Boogie Nights, man. And we'll leave it like the Boogie Nights answer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time,
man,
Ryan.
It's just fun.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. The show's awesome. So we're looking forward to season 4.
Thank you, man. I mean, we have more fun doing it, believe it or not. We just have the most fun doing this for you guys. So, the fact that you guys look, there's so much TV out there. The fact that people like it is just is great. Number one, the fact that it's got these fans, it's very special. So. Right.
Oh, and real quick, congrats, because it is true. You guys got signed on for a season 5 too, right?
We are leaving very shortly to start filming again. Yeah.
Oh,
and it is winter, and it ain't the off season anymore, baby.
Nice. Well, congrats on that too, Ryan. Yeah. That's fantastic, man.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, Ryan. We appreciate it. Good luck.
Anytime.